So for the first track, you'll see I actually have a combo of channel 34 and 38. I recorded it twice, one with the shamisen open string and the other with the shamisen 1 through 3 string. I enjoyed the open string as a drone, but it was very specifically a drone that followed perfectly the melodic high pitch of the 1 to 3 string. Next up, you'll see 3 channels: electric bass, accordion, and taisho koto. They're all the same part, but I thought that they filled out the frequency range nicely. The accordion is super pitched down and has a nice punch to it. The electric bass was a little smoother and has a nice reverb, and then taisho koto gave a nice high pitch. I added some differing effects over the 3 channels, and then I sculpted out the frequency ranges that I wanted the other instruments to fall into. Then from here we have the percussion section. The old daiko was a perfect big hit that has a really long tail to it. This is kind of in contrast to the original track, which has a nice short kick with a high punch. The big swell is more what I was going for with this track, hence the 3 previous instruments that filled out the frequency range and the drone string on the shamisen. Then all the other drums I chose for their ability to cut through the mix, and I added effects to them to make them shine a little more. The only kind of weird exception here that I added far outside the normal soundtrack would be the ol shout on channel 40. I legitimately just wanted it in here. I thought it sounded cool, and then I added some effects and I thought it sounded even cooler, so yep. Next up, I wanted to go through the effects one by one, kind of show you the difference that they make and how I went about it. For the first track, a shamisen doesn't usually have this kind of range, so I just added an EQ to it to get rid of some of the high pitch. You'll notice though that it's not always in effect. I wanted to add it only to the very end where there were some piercing sounds, so I have it disabled for the most part and then enabled at the last little bit. The electric bass part was simple. The drums in my track have more of a big swelling feeling, whereas in the original they keep things driving. For this, I just chose a little bounce back so that I could have the electric bass keep more of a forward momentum. The accordion was weird. I pitched it down to where I needed it, and then I gave it a little pop with Diablo and another little pop with just a filter. This was really just to fill a certain range. The Diablo to get some punch here is really nice though, because it keeps it a little more crisp and keeps it from just getting muddy and drowned out. For the taisho koto, you'll then see some more filtering, and you'll see that I just made a higher frequency range pop. So again, I'm just kind of sculpting out where these different instruments fit in the mix. Then into the drums, you'll see that the old daiko is the lone wolf that didn't need any effects. Then into the wood clapper, you'll see that the STFU gives it more of a crisp feeling, and I wanted to cut off that high end with another filter. Then we're into the ol shout, and you'll see that I just have a chorus on here, which takes it from a fun sound to more of a shaking vibrato. And then finally on the congas, you'll see we only have one effect, but it's enabled at the start and then disabled a little later on. In some of the faster parts later on, having that reverb just makes everything way too messy. Past everything else, we just have some effects on the master. There's nothing crazy. You'll see there's plenty of compressors and some limiters, there's some monitoring tools, and then we have some stereo width. The stereo width goes along with the Haas filter, and the only other thing that's worth saying is that the TDR compressor set to the glue setting is magical.